Hi, I'm Adam Elara, a singer, actor, and artist. This is another episode of the Anime While Black podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Leave a comment below and hit the bell to join the notification squad.
Hey guys, it's Regina Moretto, and we are back with another episode of Anime While Black podcast. As usual, I'm awkward. This is my best friend, Adam Elara. Woo!
Yay!
How can we make this more awkward? I was going for like Oprah there.
Okay, I'm always bad at beginning things and ending things.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at it.
So this is a great thing that you're doing this, right?
And we're not gonna cut any outtakes.
Nope.
It's just gonna be like this. This is what you get. You like it, you follow us. So getting into the episode, I'm super glad that like Texas is back open, in a way, because we're still in a pandemonium, but I was like tired of being inside.
Yeah, I thought it was a little early.
Yeah.
Considering that we still have like record cases.
Increasing cases, not decreasing
so
cases.
Maybe not like the mask thing. That, like, I don't know. There might have been a different way to do this. I loved how it was like Greg Abbott gets his shot and he's like, all right, let's open up Texas. I'm hitting the club this weekend. And he's like, wait, no one else did. Can you just wait? Like, I don't know.
I mean, I feel like I hope we get as human beings to a point where we don't have to have other people govern us anymore because they're not in our best interest. Like,
no, it's not.
He's like, fuck it, the economy. And it's like, what if everybody dies? Then what kind of economy will we have?
Yeah. And if it's the economy, why don't you like prioritize vaccinating the economy? Like the people that are the frontline workers. I don't know.
I don't know. Things to think about. Yeah.
But I gamed the system and I got my shots early, so whatever.
Yay. I'm black, so I'm not going to get the shot because Tuskegee but I actually am. Actually, let me not say I'm not getting it because I'm black. I'm waiting because I want more clinical trials and I want to make sure that it's safe. And I would really, really like to see the side effects that they're not telling us about.
So, I mean, I was very hesitant going. I mean, I know this is an anime show, it's not a science.
No, it's
Neil
a whatever
deGrasse.
we want to talk about.
Okay, so here's my thing, right? So first of all, like, I think that the issue with getting people of color to get vaccines is difficult because there's a lot of like mistrust, right? Like you mentioned the Tuskegee experiment. We should also remember that vaccines were pretty much invented by black people.
Yes.
The guy who found out like the cure for smallpox and cowpox would not have been able to do it if that guy from the African village hadn't told him how it was done. And also they were independently doing it in China too.
Yeah.
And this sucks because so many people of color, black people, brown people, especially in Western medicine, have made so many leaps and bounds despite a racist system against them.
Yeah.
So like, and just this Pfizer BioNTech thing was headed by Muslim people in a different country that have they don't understand like the racism of America. And this is not like, let's test this on black people. It was like, let's take two separate independent trials of 70,000 people globally and test it out. There hasn't been this much safety data for almost any other vaccine because it requires, I think the FDA, you need 2 months of working data, and like this one had more than that. And the side effects, like any medicine has side effect. I had a side effect after my second shot. Yeah. It was a fever and it went away the next day.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then that's the thing too, between the two different vaccines, different people are having different types of side effects, and some of them from people that I've had that took the shot were not good. And so I'm just like, ooh. Yeah. I was thinking about it, but now I am kind of concerned. And then, of course, when it comes to immunizations, like I've immunized all of my kids. Right. So I'm not like an anti-vaxxer. It's just in this situation with the timeline, I have pause. But yeah, I think that's why it's safer.
I had pause too. So that's why I like took some time and I like listened to what all the different countries were saying. And I'm like, okay, this is not a global conspiracy. Like if the data's if the data is conclusive and like two different warring countries are agreeing on this, I'm like, yeah, I guess if the Arabs and Jews are agreeing on the vaccine, this is probably okay. Like,
no,
because they are not agreeing on literally anything else.
Anything else at all whatsoever.
But yeah, that was sort of like my sort of thing on it. And if you're watching and whoever's listening, yes. I would recommend to not get the J&J one. The Johnson + Johnson.
Yeah,
it's not testing well against the variants, whereas the Pfizer and Moderna are.
Yes, very much like.
Plus, they make baby shampoo.
Yes,
like what
exactly, and they also have a history of creating products that have been hazardous to Black and brown communities anyway.
Yeah,
and I read that study where literally when it was brought to their attention that they had cancer-causing agents, and they were like, in that case, market this way. Like, not stop using those agents. Yeah. Market to this type of community. So, if we were that kind of talk show, I would actually put that study into the.
Here's the data.
We're gonna research on your own. Yeah. Research Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, and Moderna.
And AstraZeneca's coming out with one too. I can positively say it though. My sister, myself, my dad, my mom. My dad doesn't have an immune system at all, because he has a immunocompromising like disease. So he's responded well to all of this.
And that was one of my concerns too, because I'm immunocompromised. Right. I have a weird form of anemia and So
what he has is something called Wegener's. It's not called Wegener's anymore.
Yeah, because I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's a Nazi doctor, so we don't call it that anymore. So it's called like something pneumatolysis. I don't know how to pronounce it, but essentially the meds that he takes shuts his immune system down. So he didn't have any problems with this. But if somebody comes in with the common cold, they'll go to the hospital. So I was like, okay, that's the benchmark.
Yes.
Like, we have a blank slate of like virology in this man.
In your family of being able to. Well, it worked on him. We didn't have to. Yeah. Okay, great.
So, I mean, if you can get it done, get it done. If you have reservations, research and
until you're comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was smart of us.
Yeah.
Look at us.
All right. We've been socially responsible.
Yes. Now get into being irresponsible.
Yes.
Tell us about
the most problematic. No, I'm kidding. So this is a comic book that I made, issue 1. It's called The Burning Lotus. This is the origin story. And she's holding the album.
Yes,
trade. That this is the concept album called Origin Story. And that's where the story's main outline is, and then the issues preceding will come
and
there.
And complement.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's really freaking cool to like create a product that you can interact with like musically and like visually. So, and then you used to do your own music videos too. So.
Yeah, I either collaborated with different directors or I've like really taken the helm on those things. There was one particular that came off of here called Halal Alcohol, which I like pretty much like directed and like edited and produced and all that. It would have been nice to have some help, but people were like, we don't want to touch this project. It's too...
The title
We're going to get canceled.
The title alone. And I was just like...
Yeah. Halal Alcohol. It's the juxtaposition.
Yes.
So yeah, it was cool. I've grown up loving comic books and anime, and I was like, it would be so cool to do one. And it took me forever to get that one issue out. So now we're working on the second one. Yeah.
So also Adam illustrated this himself. Like he drew the characters, the concept, everything. So if you are interested in reading about this, and tell them about the characters, tell them the story. Like
here you go.
Yeah.
So I'm in there, but it's not like actually me, right? So it's a fictionalized version of myself.
Is this in the camera?
Okay. Yes, it is. I love it.
Because I keep doing this, and I'm like,
it's like not there at all.
At all.
So typical to a lot of us brown, Middle Eastern, Arab people, we name projects after ourselves. I don't know if it's like a cultural narcissism, but like Rami and things like that. So I was like, Adam Elara comic book. So it's not, it's a fictionalized version of myself and going through an adventure, rediscovering and questioning faith and sexual themes and political themes and all that kind of stuff. The first issue is kind of just like, can this day get any worse? And then it does, and it just keeps getting bad. It basically like trunicated like all of my childhood trauma into like the first issue. Second issue is when things get wacky.
Yeah, I feel like this is a very good issue that high schoolers, it's just young people. I feel like it's a kind of good story because they kind of can relate to that. Like, I'm trying to cut back on the cussing, but it's just like, fuck, this is just an awful fucking day. And you just watch it digress and digress. And I feel like you kind of connect with the character because he's relatable. He's, you know, just awkward and just trying to live, just trying to make friends and just be. And I love how I don't want to spoil it because I'm very bad at like giving people a synopsis. So I'm like,
sure. I mean, it's
how much
okay.
can I tell without letting people? But anyway, I like the story. I like the journey that our character goes on. So I would just want to tell you, check it out. And Adam, tell where they can find it.
You can go on my website on adamelara.com and you can get it from there for a physical copy, which are running out, which is kind of cool because it's the third time it's sold out. But I'll tell you what, I ordered small quantities so I can keep saying that.
Yes.
I was just like, it's 4 times sold out. I'm like, how many copies did you sell? 4. Print on demand. No, I'm kidding. But stuff like that. Or if you're in Austin, there is a legendary bookshop there that's having this cool deal where you can get the album and the comic.
Oh, that's super cool. Check out Legendary Bookshop.
It's called Austin Books and Comics.
Austin Books and Comics.
Yeah, they've been there since like forever, apparently.
What street is it on? I want to say I've heard of it.
I would pull out my phone. It's not too far from where I live, but I looked it up and I was like, man, this store's been around for like ever. They had like catalogs and catalogs of old school anime, old Marvel, old DC, and I'm like,
to take a road trip.
I need to have my book on one of these shelves. And then I just asked the manager. He's like, yeah, for sure, come on in.
Oh, that's freaking dope.
I know, it was dope.
So you should try to do that in Houston too.
I have. There's a couple of record stores that have that one, just the album. I think Cactus Music has a few copies of that. Cool. Yeah, and they're great people.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of the whole thing about that. I don't know if you noticed, but in the book, all the white people and their clothes are just drawn as outlines, and only people of color actually have.
I did notice that. So let me open
gradients, because I didn't do it in color. It's all black and white. And so I don't know if you could. Yeah. So there you go. There's like this white guy there, and then there's me. And so when you have black characters, Asian characters, and brown characters, they're gonna have like different shades of gray. I'm a little bit colorblind, so when I was doing this, I was like, I would ask my friend, he's like, dude, the colors look so wrong. Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know. I can't
tell. I can't process
I thought that was green. And he's like, no, that's brown. What's wrong with you? And I'm like, okay. If I just do it in black and white, it's going to make this so much easier. And he's like, yeah, it's probably better. Yeah. And it's like old mangas too. They're all in grayscale. So
yeah, exactly. Kind of like the newspaper comics too.
Yeah, exactly. So it just makes things easier on me. I'm lazy.
Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
So, yeah. WandaVision.
Oh my God. They played us so hard.
Yes.
They kept it. Like every time I was like, is this the introduction of the X-Men in this universe? And then they're like, no.
Just kidding.
Then why did you cast Evan Peters?
Yes, I know. I was so upset about that because I was like, this would be the appropriate time to inject and like make all of the like universe come together. And I was like, perfect, Disney. I'm proud of you. And they're just like, just kidding.
I know. And then that one title card that was like Pietro Maximoff as himself.
Yes.
And then it's some guy named Boner. What is this, man?
Yes. I was so upset. I was like, so wait a minute. He's not. Because that's what I thought. I was like, she literally pulled him through the universe because she's that powerful. Yeah. And but we didn't see him running. Did he have?
He did move fast.
Okay, so then so I think that's why we assume. But I mean, we have to think about Agatha. Like she can imbue him with those powers.
But he's also wearing the comic book accurate costume, and
so misled.
What about Vashon though?
Vashon is everything. Vashon is everyone on Black Twitter's baby daddy. All the black dudes are mad. They were like, he's a computer. And everyone's like, okay.
And underneath all that, he's the whitest guy.
Yes, he's British.
Yeah, that's the benchmark.
He's British. Oh, my God.
So are you fluent in Spanish?
I'm fluent enough. I cannot really speak well anymore because moving back to Texas has made my tongue does not fit the right places to speak.
So, like, if you were to watch an anime dub in Spanish, you feel like you'd follow along? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, then just don't watch English dubs then.
Yeah.
I mean, just be better. Just be like, instead of...
Because it's exciting, and the voice actors that they get are so much more animated than our American voice actors. No shade, because I want them to come on my show.
Sure, yes.
But, you know, it's just, I feel like we have a very methodic... We have a, like, system, like an engine to doing our shows. And so, like... The voice actors, they get all the same jobs. Like, they get every film, every movie, the same people over and over again. I talked about this with Sefi Hakubi, which I need to introduce you to as well. And it's like, because they know the structure, they bring down their tempo. It's just like blah, blah, blah. And every character, you know, they give that same energy. And you can, like, and that's how kids here are fans of particular voice actors. Like, even the guy who does Inuyasha's voice, I can't remember his name right now, but I was a huge fan of him, and his name is blowing my mind right now. But there's other projects, and I'm like, oh, but you're giving Inuyasha voice to this character, and, like, this is not Inuyasha. And then again, and again, and again, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I see that a lot when they're using the same people, especially people that prior to getting that first anime gig weren't really doing voiceover work. Like, this guy, Sean Schemmel, he sucks. I'm sorry to say it. Like, he does. And the industry hates him. His fans hate him now, too, because he's mean.
Sefi was talking about that, too.
if you're mean to the one big role you got, right, to the fans that come up and greet you and stuff, what else do you expect? You know, like...
Yeah, because people are very connected to their characters.
But this is different than, say, people who are in the career of, like, doing American cartoon voice acting. Like, Phil Lamar is excellent. Like, I loved him in Mad TV, but I love him in Samurai Jack.
I love it. Yes, I love him so much more. Yes.
Martian Manhunter.
Yes.
He does so much good work.
Yeah, he does.
Why don't they get him in anime? Like, I feel like he would just kill it. Right?
Yeah.
People like him. Or Deborah Wilson's really good, too.
She's amazing.
So much range.
Speaking of black female voice actors... Cree Summer needs to not get all the fucking jobs.
Wait, remind me again who she is.
So, okay, there used to be a show that came on after The Cosby Show called A Different World with Lisa Bonet, who Lisa Bonet is married to Aquaman, Jason Momoa, my fourth baby daddy. So, but anyway, so Cree Summer was a supporting character on that show. That's where most people know her from. She was like the black bohemian hippie girl. She had like these curls and she was super hippie dippy. And, you know, they had her in college to kind of contrast with the typical conservative boule type of black characters that were on there, like the black kids that are middle class and go to college. And so she's there with her whole like, oh, I'm sunbathing and I don't wear bras and blah, blah, blah kind of thing.
I think I remember that.
Yeah. So she has a very distinct voice. She's, did you ever watch Kids Next Door?
I did.
She's number 5.
Oh.
And she does everything. She's
everywhere.
Every fucking voice.
Yo.
Every voice. Every black character that ever exists, she's done. And she's also got to step out and do non-black characters. But she's every black girl character. And
she's got that scratchy.
Yes. She does it over and over.
You just extracted something from like the deep recesses of my memory. And I'm like, I've heard this voice for years.
Yes. Yes. And like if my voice wasn't like a little bit hoarse from yelling at my kids, I would do it for you. But
oh my God.
I probably could just do the Cartman voice right now. But I can do different characters too. And so it's just so funny because it's like I started thinking one day, I was like, wait a minute, if she's getting all the jobs, what about all the other people who are auditioning and she's just given the jobs? Because recently we celebrated like her anniversary of, I don't know how many years she's been in work. I think they had like 20 years or 30 years, something like that. But, and that's cool. I like that. I'm glad because I'm glad when I was a kid growing up to hear that voice and identify it and know that that's like, oh, that's a black person doing that. But as I got older and I got into the industry, I'm like, if she's getting every role, what about all the no's for all the other people?
Yeah.
Because it's just like, you know, and because I think about it with like you being an actor too, and you go up and audition, and then it's like, yeah, thanks, but we're gonna give it to this person.
Yeah, if it's it's always this joke where it's like I go out for roles, but they're just gonna give it to Riz Ahmed anyway. Like, they're just gonna give it to him
Somebody
or Kumail.
that is known. Yeah.
They're
like, if we're gonna give it to a brown person, let's do someone we know. Come on.
Or I think a lot of times like casting things have now gotten to the point where like they're just putting up open ethnicity to just seem like they're, you know, because accepting then when you get everybody.
Into the description, it's like,
but then I'll see who got the part and I'm like, that guy sucks and he's white. Like, what? I don't understand. Like, if he was a better actor than me, I would not feel bad about this, but he's just it just aggravates me, because if I see a brown dude get it or like a black guy like get the part that I went out for,
like, okay, cool.
I'm less mad.
Yeah,
I'm only aggravated if they're like not good at it, because I'm like, well, dude, I could have done this for you, man. But I don't know, that the casting director is the one who ultimately makes a choice. And I will say that in this South region, majority of the casting directors are white, so they're the ones who make the decisions. Colors their perspective. You know, that's why they make the choices they do. So I would like to see, I think a push is not only for on-screen representation, but also like behind the camera.
Yes, very much so.
Because it's going to change, I mean, who's writing it, who's filming it, who's lighting it, you know? Like those are big things.
Exactly. You know? Super, super important things in the process, which is why I push with Anime While Black and like just talking about it, and even talking about creating a manga and an anime on my own, because like people will say, well, stop complaining about it if you're not going to do anything. And it's like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do something.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but not everyone is able to. And honestly, we just got to a point where people of color are able to make their own projects and get them greenlit and push them forward and have allies that will allow them the seat at the table. And in our cases, we made our own fucking table. So, yeah.
I mean, there is one thing I always kind of like, I don't know if this is a saying that I made up, but I always thought like, for me, going through art, music, acting, and all that, I always felt like, you know, somebody says when 10 doors close on you, one opens. Well, for me, it would be one open to only be shut in my face. So I would just have to go to Home Depot to build the door myself, and then hold it open for other people to walk in behind me.
Exactly.
That's kind of the thing. And speaking of the fact that people of color have now just been able to do their own projects because digital media has made things so much easier.
And more accessible.
I started doing this like music education course to teach people like how to make their own music.
Oh, that's dope.
And it's like super easy. I wish I had this. So I'm like, all right, I'm making this for like the kid. You know, it's either like some guy who can't afford music lessons, or, you know, some girl whose parents tell her it's haram, or just something, right? Where you're not allowed to do it or you don't have access to. I'm going to like break everything down, like super, super easy, stupid stuff. And then like by the end of the course, you'll have a song on Spotify.
Yeah.
I guarantee it. Or your time back once they figure out how to do time machines.
I can't say money back.
I can't say money because it's free. Because it's free on top of that.
Exactly. Oh, that's super fucking dope. So like, you guys should check that out.
Yeah.
Especially if you're making your own music. There's a lot of kids that are out there that are trying to get into the industry, and I know you have a lot of tips about that because you literally did it yourself.
Yeah, I mean the record you're holding, I did it in my bedroom.
Yep.
And so I want to be able to give other people the agency to do that themselves, and like be able to have a competing quality. Like, I don't want it to be like, oh yeah, I can tell you did that in your bedroom, or like this sounds like a mixtape, or like this is some, you know, demo bullshit. Like, I want it to sound on a level that's like, dude, this is like good. Like, more people should hear this.
And then they hear the backstory and they're like, wow, he made this in his bedroom?
Yeah.
He did it himself? Oh, wow.
And, you know, it's funny, more and more people, because of quarantine, are recording in their bedrooms because studios have been shut down or whatever. And, like, a lot of us independent musicians have just been doing this for a while. We learned how to, like, record ourselves. And I saw a headline where it was like, Billie Eilish recorded an entire song during quarantine in her bedroom. And then, like, there's a meme where it's like every independent musician's like, okay, like this is news. Like, we've been doing this. Like,
exactly. Because, like, I was looking on Snapchat, and they were talking about the cover that Bad Bunny did for Rolling Stones. And so he shot it at home during quarantine, and his girlfriend took the pictures on his iPhone, and everyone's like, oh my God, amazing. And I'm like, do you not realize people do stuff at home all the time?
Yeah.
Like
Chance the Rapper did that one record on a GarageBand on an iPad, and then that one charted on Billboard.
Yeah.
Like people,
using an app, an Apple app.
Yeah. So it's like when people of color or, you know, disenfranchised poor people don't have options, we get creative and we're like, look, we can't afford anything else.
Like
we have to do this
quarantine, our survival skills.
Oh, the winter blast.
Yes. Oh my God. That was hilarious. And like it was so funny because your friend was just like, can't relate. Like I could tell his tone like while we're talking about like everything.
Yeah. Which is funny because he's such a survivalist.
Yes.
He's very outdoorsy, but like he didn't get hit by what happened so bad that I did.
Yeah.
And because like I was without power, I didn't have water, I didn't have heat, and it was just snow everywhere. It was like driving on a skating rink in Austin. Like all of the roads were like completely covered in ice. And so I was like, all right, well, what am I gonna do? All right, so I'm just gonna boil some water. I'm gonna create a microclimate in my apartment. I'm gonna run the humidifier somehow. Like I just like I need to get this to at least
Cover
52 degrees. Yeah, and I was like, let me just get to 52 degrees, layer up. And I'm like thinking, I'm so glad that my grandfather left a country in the midst of a civil war where they had power outages and they had to boil water because it was unsafe to drink there, so that his grandson one day could do the exact same thing. Right?
The exact same fucking thing. Even when we're talking about pouring water into the toilet to flush the toilet.
Oh, dude.
And Alex was just like...
he did not have it as bad.
No. He was like, wait a minute, that's what you guys are doing? How unsavory.
Yeah, it was pretty, He got lucky because his place, he was able to take refuge at his girlfriend's house.
Yeah,
who was like
which he said.
outside.
So not shading him and saying his experience was less because we had it hard and he didn't.
No. He just got lucky.
Yes.
And
probably would have been fun for him if he did end up being stuck in place.
We had a whole episode on our show, on the Alex and Adam podcast show. Yes. We had a whole episode about how he would be great in a zombie apocalypse, and I believe it. Like I could totally see him doing some gnarly stuff.
I'm gonna find him and be like, I'm gonna be a part of your tribe. Thanks.
I told him that I would just like, nah, I'm out. Like if there's a zombie apocalypse, just take me out. There's no quality of life after this. No, I don't want to. I like my guitar. If I can't play it because there's no electricity.
Spoiled. That's what your grandfather left his country for. That right there. Like I don't want to live anymore if I can't like play my guitar and go to Starbucks.
There's no Wi-Fi. Fuck it. Like there's no quality of life. Fuck this shit. No, I mean just in the sense of like I don't know. I can't even explain myself because I've just been caught in my. She caught me in a lie. No, I mean this is how it is. Yeah, I don't want to. We moved to a first world country. We expect first world amenities. You know, that's how it is. So if we wanted to continue living the way we did, we would have stayed.
Right.
So, I mean, that's how it is. We pay our taxes for a reason, right? Just so we could have Texas be on its own goddamn electrical grid that just fails. Energy capital of the world.
Yes, and turn off the power purposely. Purposely.
Man, I remember like job fairs at college where they're like, Houston's the energy capital of the United States.
We literally have a part of Houston that's the energy corridor where all these people work at. And it's just like,
you should come work for us. We're just doing great. And I'm just like, now I'm looking, I'm like, man, what the hell are you guys doing, dude? Like,
I know what they were doing. That's what they were doing.
We're flying to Cancun.
Yes.
My name is Rafael Cruz.
Poor Rafi. Let's see what else. So we talked about WandaVision. I mean, I guess we could talk about like other things in the episodes. What do you think that is gonna come up out of planning for season 2 for WandaVision?
I'm excited to see I really hope they really utilize Tiana Paris.
Yes.
I need to see more of her. We got a little bit, and I got excited because I know she was originally Captain Marvel for a little bit. Spectrum, Photon. I don't know what version they're doing.
Yeah.
But I want to see it. She's been training hard. I don't know if you guys follow her on Instagram. She's like killing it with like all the weights. I sent you a meme, and I'm not going to say who the other actress was preparing for her Marvel role.
Yeah.
But not as invested.
But that, that goes back to the white mediocrity we were talking about earlier too.
Yes.
Like literally for the roles, like she's got to do all of this and to prepare, and the other character does not. But
Tiana Paris is fighting for 2-3 minutes of screen time, a couple of lines here and there as a supporting character. Somebody else gets a franchise film and is eating pizza on the couch. You know what I mean? Like, it's a very
full time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm glad.
Yeah.
I feel like, do you feel that your shows tend to be awkward with guests you don't know?
Actually, no. Yeah. Because I'm awkward.
Oh.
I'm comfortably awkward. And sometimes I like to make other people feel awkward and uncomfortable. I like to do that. And so then we're just both awkward.
That's fair. I normally just end my shows with like something like, have a nice rest of your life. Right? Like, because I don't know. Like, thanks for listening. Bye. Be sure to check out our sponsors.
I don't have any sponsors yet.
Check out our coupon code NordVPN. No, I'm not.
All of that. But like, yeah, for me, I like to make people feel awkward. I'm awkward. And as far as like my other guests, I had a really amazing. I've had all amazing guests. Y'all have all been awesome. But it was really, really cool and fun. I brought in a girl who's a cosplayer. Her name is Kago Neko. Loved her. And we sat here and we like fangirled and we talked about like cons. We talked about racism at cons. We talked about unfortunately racism in cosplay and just all these other things. And she was dressed up as a character and she looked amazing. And just us going back and forth talking about our favorite animes and our characters and all of this. It was just awesome. So yeah,
I think that's great.
Awesome.
I'm
it
glad
was really
you're
awesome.
I'm glad you're like getting all these like different people in like the culture and the community, because it's like I mean, there isn't really a space for things like this, so it's nice that it exists, you know, and you made it happen. Yeah.
Yes. Surprisingly, because like, you know, I'm doing a million fucking things at once, and so it's like
Regina is always doing the most and doing it well, I must say. So that's great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I think I do a lot of things terribly.
We're all our own worst critics.
Yes.
You know, so like, I'm not going to say what here. I'm just going to accept compliments.
Yes. I need to learn to accept compliments. So yes, I am amazing. Thank y'all. You're welcome.
Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. It was great. Round 2.
Round 2. Awesome. So goodbye.
That's it.
That's the episode.